So here's a look at the first 4 rounds of a Best Ball Mania draft I did yesterday. It's $25 to enter, but they do have smaller contests, $5, $3. They just had the puppy that was released last night, I believe, $5 entry. There's a ton of prizes. I think $3 million for first place overall here in this particular draft. But I wanted to give you guys a little bit of a feel, a little bit of a look here of how the first round went. Justin Jefferson off the top, and that would be my first pick overall as well. You know, you're not always going to luck into getting first overall pick, but I think it's a significant pick to get first overall. Justin Jefferson, for the most part, he will go first. Travis Kelce, a little bit of a surprise there. I have seen him go pretty early, but second overall pick here. I mean, he's not going to go second overall in your draft with your buddies, but, you know, something we talked about yesterday, you want to shoot for upside. You want to get some stacks. You want to be a little bit creative here. You're competing with hundreds of thousands of people in this contest. So you definitely have to maximize your upside. Getting a guy like Travis Kelce, I'm not even sure in the later parts if he was able to get no, he wasn't, because Patrick Mahomes is here in the second round. So he didn't get that stack. And, you know, taking Kelce that early, you're most likely not going to be able to get Patrick Mahomes at the end of the second. You'd have to kind of do it at end of the first with Kelce and then early second there. But the first goes like this for the iTunes and Spotify listeners: Justin Jefferson, Travis Kelce, Jamar Chase, Cooper Kupp, who did lead all fantasy players in fantasy points per game at the wide receiver position, but missed half the year, but didn't really miss a beat from the amazing season he had 2 years ago. Christian McCaffrey, the first running back off the board. I rent Tyreek Hill at pick number 6. Josh Allen at 7. Bijan Robinson, RB2 overall here. That's actually where I have him in my rankings. I just moved him ahead of Austin Eckler, but I wouldn't fight you on Eckler versus Robinson. A.J. Brown, Devontae Adams, Jonathan Taylor, and Stephon Diggs round out round 12, or first round, 12 picks there. Not a ton of surprises. You know, Josh Allen goes early. Not going to happen in your standard league and Superflex, of course. 6 passing touchdown, of course. But, you know, he goes early in this setting. And, you know, I've seen those 3 quarterbacks go in the first 2 rounds, and they are going to go in the first 2 rounds. You know, some people have talked about the strategy of being aggressive and getting one of those 3 quarterbacks in that first tier, maybe waiting it out in that second tier with rushing upside in Justin Fields and Lamar Jackson. And you see Joe Burrow. Followed by Joe Burrow would be Trevor Lawrence and Justin Herbert. But I have no problem actually with those 3, but I think there certainly are some valuable quarterbacks in the later parts of the drafts. We can talk about that in a little bit, but this second round looks like this: Austin Eckler, Garrett Wilson kind of early for me. I would go CeeDee Lamb and Waddle and Brown over Garrett Wilson, but he's definitely going to have a good season with Aaron Rodgers. I fully believe that. A definite upgrade at the quarterback position. Patrick Mahomes, as I mentioned, first quarterback there. Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, then Waddle to myself. So started with the Miami stack. I did get Tua Tagovailoa a little bit later on. Certainly some risk with this Miami stack and Tua. And then Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jalen Hurts, Nick Chubb, Tony Pollard, Jahmyr Gibbs. A little early for my liking for Jahmyr Gibbs. I think, you know, for me in my rankings, Ramondre Stevenson, Josh Jacobs, Breece Hall, Travis Etienne. These are guys that I like more than Jahmyr Gibbs that went in the 3rd round. The 3rd round starts Chris Olave, Devontae Smith, Lamar Jackson, Ramondre, T. Higgins, DK Metcalf to myself. I did also get Jackson Smith and Jigba, and I got Geno there. So my stacks were Seattle and Miami here. Josh Jacobs, Justin Fields, Amari Cooper, Breece Hall, Travis Etienne, Mark Andrews is the second tight end off the board. Then Calvin Ridley. We talked yesterday with Sam Sherdery about the Jags stack, and Chark is kind of going wide receiver 35-ish, and Calvin Ridley's going as wide receiver 17 to 20. You know, he's a couple years removed from a 1,400-yard season. That's the kind of upside he can bring. I love him. I think he's a fantastic wide receiver, but let's keep in mind that he hasn't really played football in the past 2 years, and he's in a new system, and they do have a lot of mouths to feed in Jacksonville. I think it's a terrific stack to target, to be honest with you. I think this Jags offense can go toe-to-toe with anybody in the league. I really fully believe that. Trevor Lawrence in year 3, year 2 with Doug Peterson, adding Ridley, having Zay Jones, having Chark, having Evan Ingram. I really like this offense, and ETN is going to see fewer stack boxes this season. There's really no question. I think the biggest question I do have with Jacksonville and their offense is their offensive line and protecting Trevor Lawrence, because we did see him. Their run blocking, their pass blocking is near the bottom of the league in the NFL. So that would be the upgrade that I would like to see Jacksonville this season. But Nonetheless, Calvin Ridley there to start the fifth. And let's round this one out here, Quan. Thank you, sir. DJ Moore, Joe Burrow, Kenneth Walker. We have Keenan Allen there, followed by TJ Hawkinson as the third tight end off the board. I do agree with that. And how about Najee Harris? I think there's a terrific value here for Najee Harris in round 4. On average, going as pick 40. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. The 15th running back off the board. Slow start to the season last year. I thought a really good second half from him. The touches were up, just like we saw in the rookie season. Debo Samuel, Christian Watson, DeAndre Hopkins, Mike Williams, and J.K. Dobbins to round out round 4. Any surprises you see from you guys? I'd love to hear it in the comment section, in the chat. We're going to take another quick break, and we'll continue the Underdog Fantasy Talk. I want to present some values at running back and wide receiver and a couple stacks to target as well.